confidently rolling toward Ukrainian lines in western Russia's Kursk Oblast in up-armored vehicles brazenly flying the flag of the defunct Soviet Union. An assault group from the Russian 155th Naval Infantry Brigade paraded right into a minefield laid by the Ukrainian 47th Mechanized Brigade. The results were predictable and emblematic of Russia's faltering counteroffensive in Kursk. The counteroffensive ramped up in early November, 3 months after a strong Ukrainian force invaded Kursk and carved what is now a 250 square mile salient from the Oblast. The Russians again went on an assault in Kursk against the 47th Brigade and its auxiliaries, the brigade reported. In a column of more than a dozen tanks and about a company of enemies around 100 troops, they threw the elite Russian 155th Marine Brigade with the flags of victory into the assault. Mines blew up some of the Russian vehicles. Drones struck others and also hounded the dismounted infantry. One shell-shocked Russian crewman bailed out of his damaged vehicle, trudged a few steps through the snow, fell flat onto his back, and then exploded as a drone slammed into him. "We are extinguishing all the enemy's attempts to advance in Kursk," the 47th Mechanized Brigade crowed. It's not for no reason Ukrainian forces take such glee in killing 155th Naval Infantry Brigade Marines. On October 13th, the Russian brigade captured, stripped, and executed 9 Ukrainian drone operators in Kursk, a war crime that signaled escalating Russian brutality as the wider war on Ukraine ground toward its 4th year. The 47th Mechanized Brigade has defeated at least 2 major Russian and North Korean assaults this month. The brigade held the line along the western edge of the salient, while Ukrainian paratroopers counterattacked on the eastern edge on February 5, quickly advancing several miles. For the first time in months, the Ukrainian salient is getting bigger, not smaller. The salient is a bargaining chip. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed last week that his forces invaded Kursk in August. In order to seize Russian territory, Kyiv could eventually trade for Ukrainian territory the Russians occupy. "We are exchanging one territory for another," Zelensky said. "But it's not clear the Ukrainians can get favorable terms as US President." Donald Trump impulsively takes control of possible negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. Any ceasefire could be fragile and brief, without continuing US support for Ukrainian forces, including the mostly US-equipped 47th Mechanized Brigade. But Trump has demanded Zelensky give the United States half of Ukraine's $500 billion reserves of rare earth minerals as payment for past US aid and as a precondition for future aid. He has so far avoided signing the minerals deal, but hasn't ruled out some kind of US-Ukrainian economic exchange as part of a wider security agreement. "Any deal still needs work to ensure Ukraine's interests are safeguarded," Zelensky said. "Zelensky has handled negotiations very well so far," concluded Tatarigami, the founder of the Ukrainian Frontelligence Insight Group. Despite indirect extortion, he hasn't caved. And on the snow-covered, blood-spattered fields in Kursk, the 47th Mechanized Brigade is buying Zelensky more time for diplomacy and holding on to the best bargaining chip Ukraine has: hundreds of square miles of Russian soil. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, reported on 15 February that Russian advances in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast, south and southwest of Pokrovsk, have significantly slowed over the past 2 weeks, amid indications of a potential shift in military priorities toward Kostiantynivka operations in spring and summer 2025. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated at the Munich Security Conference on 14 February that the situation in the Pokrovsk direction has shown improvement in recent days. This assessment was echoed by a Ukrainian brigade spokesperson, who confirmed decreased Russian activity in the area. According to Ukraine's Kortitsia Group of Forces spokesperson Major Viktor Trehubov, Russian forces suffered approximately 7,000 personnel killed in action near Pokrovsk in January 2025. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief General Oleksandr Syrsky reported that total Russian casualties in this direction reached 15,000 during the same period. Russian forces have encountered difficulties advancing north of Kotlin and west of Udakny, facing stronger Ukrainian defensive positions. Ukrainian forces have launched several counterattacks near Kotlin and Piszczyn, threatening Russian positions in the salient. A Russian mill blogger reported that Ukrainian drone operations are severely hampering Russian activities in the Pokrovsk direction. Ukrainian drones are reportedly striking Russian forces operating beyond 3 kilometers north and west of Selidov, while monitoring and restricting access to all roads in the area. The source indicated that these operations have made troop rotations and resupply missions impossible for Russian forces. ISW reports that the Russian military command may also intend to prioritize assaults on Kostiantynivka in 2025, and are thus reportedly not reinforcing the Russian force grouping south of Pokrovsk.